Well, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, last month was the third warmest June on record, and that trend is expected to continue. NOAA says there's less than a 1% chance that 2025 will not end up as the warmest year on record. And with the high heat comes high utility prices as Americans pump up that air conditioning. So what changes can you make in your home to help lower the bill? Joining me now is Angie Hicks, the co-founder of Angi. So let's start simple here, Angie. What are some quick, affordable upgrades homeowners can make today that could immediately lower their utility bills?
One of the easiest things they can do is to make sure that they're keeping curtains or shutters, blinds, window coverings closed in the heat of the day, especially where the sun's shining in, because we've all walked in that room where it's super hot because you've got that afternoon sun coming in. Keep that sun out. It's going to keep the room cooler. And then also ceiling fans. You might already have some in your house. Make sure they're running counterclockwise. And if you're considering adding them, that could be a nice addition, maybe in a bedroom where you want it to be a little cooler, for example.
And Angie, I hate to say it, but this one hits close to home. Most people don't think twice about their HVAC filters. How
Right.
often should we actually be replacing them, and how big of a difference can that make?
It does. What it's going to do is replacing that filter is going to make the air conditioner just run much more efficiently. So anywhere from monthly to once a quarter, you should look and see what your system recommends, and then just put it on the calendar so you remember to do it. Super easy. I do mine myself. Everybody, I think you can probably do it yourself, and it's not an expensive item to pick up at the hardware store.
And when it comes to overall appliances, when does it make sense to upgrade? And how could switching to
Yeah.
maybe Energy Star rated models actually save over time?
That's right. So yeah, so if you're gonna in the market to be replacing an appliance, be sure you're looking for that Energy Star rating because that will help. You're gonna get a newer model. It's gonna be more efficient and it's gonna save you a little bit each month. Keep in mind your heating and cooling is your largest user of electricity in your house. So being very careful and paying attention to those is really important. That question about when to repair, when to replace, common question. So here's a good rule of thumb. If your appliance is halfway through its useful life, so most of them last, let's say 15 years. So if you're 8 years or more and it's going to cost half as much to repair it as it will to replace, you're better off going ahead and replacing.
Okay, and I want to stick on that topic because what should homeowners know before deciding to maybe replace their windows or upgrade insulation? And are there rebates or maybe tax incentives that consumers should be aware of so that they can take advantage of that?
Yeah, those are common things that you can get rebates for. So you do want to be checking either federal rebates, if your state offers them, be checking on that. Windows, insulation are very common items. And then also another thing to consider doing is a lot of times we think about weather stripping in the winter. We're like, hey, I don't want my house to be drafty. Same problem in the summer. If it's 95 and humid and you've got air flowing through around your windows and doors, let's seal those up. And that's something that can be relatively inexpensive. I mean, again, if you're a good DIYer, it's something that you can do yourself, or you can hire a handyman that can come in and help you. But that is something that will help keep those drafts away and help you, you're not wasting that nice cool air you're paying for.
And what about some good hygiene tips? Are there any overlooked habits or home maintenance routines that can make a big seasonal difference without costing a dime?
Yeah. One of the things that I would suggest that's often overlooked is the fact that a lot of us like to disguise our air conditioning unit outside. I mean, I know they're not the prettiest thing, but that actually is harmful to the air conditioner. You want good airflow around your air conditioner. So trim back landscaping, make sure it's free and clear around that because it's going to pay off in the long run. And then also think about if you don't have a programmable thermostat, it might be something you want to consider, especially if you like to adjust your thermostat to, go warmer when you're not going to be home and then go lower when you're going to be there. It helps you remember because sometimes we forget those things. So that's another item you could have on the list.